Hello everyone, good morning. I welcome you to Knowledgist. अगर आप इस चैनल में नए हैं तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए आप डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दिए गए जो भी लिंक है वहां से आप हमारे साथ जुड़ सकते हैं. So let's get started with the Hindu editorial. Today's the Hindu editorial. तो आज का पहला टॉपिक है लिमिट्स ऑफ कोऑपरेशन ऑन रिफॉर्म्स इन कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर. And the second one is about In Search of Gold on Tokyo Olympics. is आपको पता होगा कि बहुत बार पोस्टपोन होने के बाद finally the Tokyo Olympics have started today, have already been started. So we will be coming to it, but let's discuss the words of the first editorial. So the first one is beset. It is a verb. तो इसका मतलब क्या है? घेर लेना. To encompass, circle, round off, to affect. Okay, means to. It can also mean if the second meaning is to trouble someone or something persistently. Okay, the synonyms for beset are attack, torment, torture, trouble, और antonyms हैं liberate, abandon. Then the next word is delineate. Delineate is a verb. इसका मतलब क्या है? To describe or draw something in detail, to mark the boundary of something. मतलब चित्रित करना, मतलब किसी भी बॉर्डर या किसी भी को मोस्टली मतलब आंख की चित्र करके उसको मतलब एक बॉर्डर लाइन दे देना. The synonyms for delineate are to depict, portray, present, and the antonyms are twist, confuse, and misrepresent. Then the third word is contours. Contour is a noun. It means to shape the shape of the outer surface of something. रूपरेखा. To shape the outer surface of something, मतलब outline करना. So the synonyms are outline, shape, form, and the antonyms are core, content, center. Then the fourth word is fetter. Fetter is a verb. इसका मतलब क्या है? एक चेन और मैनिकल यूज टू रेस्ट्रेन ए प्रिजनर, मतलब बांध के रखने के लिए, मतलब जो मतलब चेन या फिर मैनिकल यूज होता है एक प्रिजनर को बांध के, टिपिकली प्लेस्ड अराउंड द एंकल्स, एंकल में जो बांध के रखते हैं. एंड द अदर मीनिंग फॉर फेटर इज टू कन्फाइन और टू रेस्ट्रिक्ट समबडी और समथिंग. तो इसके सिनोनिम्स क्या होंगे? रेस्ट्रेंट्स, ट्रेमल, impede. And the antonyms for fetter are free, liberate, accelerate. Then the last word is muster. Muster is a verb. इसका मतलब क्या है? To find as much support, courage, etc. as you can. मतलब किसी भी प्लान या फिर लॉ को लेके मतलब मोस्टली हमें मतलब सपोर्ट या फिर कॉरेज मिले. So let's move to the first editorial. It is about the limits of cooperation on reforms in cooperative sector. तो फिर क्या दिया गया है? Reforms in cooperative sector should not be at the cost of federal principles. मतलब जो भी कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर में जो भी रिफॉर्म्स आ रहे हैं, जो भी चेंजेस आ रहे हैं, that should not be in cost of federal principle. मतलब किसी भी फेडरल प्रिंसिपल्स के दबाव में आके कोई भी चेंजेस कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर में नहीं होना चाहिए. So let's get started. The cooperative movement certainly needs reform and revitalization. As we know that what is a cooperative movement means जहाँ पे लोग मतलब कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं? They used to do a business or some businessmen they मतलब कुछ क्या अपनी तरफ से they used to produce or buy or sell some things, and जो भी वहां से जो भी प्रॉफिट आता है they used to sell it among themselves. It is a cooperative, means with cooperation they used to do something. So यहाँ पे क्या बोला गया है? The cooperative movement certainly needs to reform and revitalization. It needs some changes and something new must be done for the development of the cooperative movement. Beset by political interference, many cooperative societies do not hold elections regularly, while some other superseded frequently. तो फिर क्या है? Beset by political interference. Political interference से पॉलिटिकल इंटरफेरेंस के कारण मतलब उसके दबाव में आके many cooperative societies what they do not hold election they do not hold elections regularly while some they used to supersede frequently means they used to replace they go on replacing these things frequently. Then the 97th Constitution Amendment, which came into effect in 2012, was a major step towards infusing autonomy, democratic functioning, and professional management. The recent Supreme Court verdict holding the amendment unconstitutional to the extent is applied to cooperative societies under the control of the states is a reminder that well, even well-intentioned efforts towards reforms cannot be at the cost of quasi-federal principle underlying the constitution. तो क्या बोला गया है? As a recent जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट verdicts जो भी है उसके हिसाब से क्या बोला गया है कि अगर आप क्या है अगर आप मतलब आपकी intentions if you are having well intention or if you are giving effort towards a reform even it can't lead to you can't lead it to a positive way because of the quasi-federal principles of our constitution. The amendment added part 9th B to the constitution concerning cooperative societies. Okay, the amendment added in part 9th B of the constitution concerns about the cooperative societies. Part B, Part 9B delineated the contours of what state legislation on cooperative societies ought to contain, including provisions on the maximum number of directors in each society, reservation for seats of SCs, STs, and women, beside the duration of the terms of elected members, among others. The question before the court was whether the 97th Amendment impacted the legislative domain of the state legislature and therefore required ratification of half the legislatures in addition to the required two-thirds majority in parliament. तो क्या बोला गया है? The question before the court is about the 97th amendment that was impacted during the legislative domain of the state legislature and it requires a ratification of half of the legislature. The Gujarat High Court has found the amendment invalid for want of such ratification. तो फिर क्या बोला गया है? The consent of this has the Gujarat High Court has declared it invalid. The Supreme Court by a 2:1 majority upheld the judgment holding the amendment invalid, but only in relation to cooperative under the states. क्या बोला गया है? 2:1 मेजोरिटी के हिसाब से ये जो भी हुआ था उसके हिसाब से even though Supreme Court have given the judgment that the amendment is invalid. The elaborate amendment would hold good for multi-state cooperative societies on which Parliament was competent to enact laws. क्या बोला गया है कि the amendment which hold good for multi-state जो भी multi-state cooperative societies हैं it would be good for them if because the parliament will be competent, will be able to enact laws upon them. A significant limitation on parliament's amending power is the requirement that certain kinds of amendments to the constitution must be ratified by 50% of the state legislature. A significant limitation on parliament's amending power is the requirement that certain requirement has been made that the parliament should amend at least a 55% of consent of the state legislature. The union government believed that as the subject of cooperative societies in the state list was not altered in any way by the 97th Amendment, and that is only outlined guidelines on any law on cooperatives that the assemblies may enact. The ratification was not necessary. Though the Union government believed that as a subject of cooperative, according to the cooperative societies, the state list cannot be, as we know that our power is divided between state and center, so no alteration can be made. And though it is given that the Union government believed that the subject, according to the subject of cooperative societies, there no alteration can be made here by the 97th Amendment, and the guidelines of the law itself enacts the ratification was not necessary. A key principle from the judgment is that the ratification requirement will apply if there is any attempt to fetter the state legislature in any way while enacting a law in their own domain, even if there is no attempt to alter the distribution of legislative power between the union and state. जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि as we know that the power is distributed between union and the states, so the judgment can only be a key principle from the judgment is that key principle judgment का एक क्या principle है कि the requirement will apply if there is any attempt to fetter the state legislature. अगर restriction मतलब mostly ये जो पावर्स तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड हैं ही, तो अगर ऐसे कुछ भी मतलब रिक्वायरमेंट्स या फिर कुछ भी कंसेंट वो अगर देंगे तो फिर मोस्टली स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर में ही मतलब वही रिस्ट्रिक्शन या फिर इम्पेडिमेंट्स उसके लिए हर्डल्स क्रिएट होंगे स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर के लिए, ना कि और लेकिन कोई अल्टरेशन नहीं आएंगी इसमें. Thus, in the absence of ratification by the states, the amendment that sought to prescribe the outlines of state laws on a state subject did not pass constitutional muster. तो क्या बोला गया है? As we know, the constitutional muster मतलब क्या है? Absence of ratification by the states, the consent made by the states, the amendments that are sought to prescribe the outlines of the state laws did not pass any constitutional muster. मतलब mostly क्या होता है? They proposed a plan of law that will not survive or that will not pass according to the expected legal challenges in the court. The judgment may mean that the concern expressed by some about the adverse implications of the formation of a new Ministry of Cooperation on federal principles could be true. Meanwhile, the judgment expresses that there will be an adverse implication in the formation of a new Ministry of Cooperation on the federal principle could be true. However, there is no denying that the scope for democratizing the functioning of cooperative societies and enhancing their autonomy remains unchanged. जो भी होगा, there is no denying it. मतलब इसमें कोई भी मतलब ना मानने वाली ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है कि scope for democratizing मतलब it will enhance the democratizing function of the cooperative societies and it will enhance their autonomy, which will never alter. So moving to the next editorial's vocab. So the first word is lustre. Lustre is a noun. It means a gentle sheen or soft glow. The synonyms for lustre are radiance, shine, brightness, and the antonyms are dullness, darkness. Then the next one is an idiom. It means to set in stone. Set in stone means to be very difficult or impossible to change. It is impossible to change करना असंभव है. Then the third word is allure. Allure is a noun. It means the quality of being attractive and exciting. Allure means to attract somebody. So the synonyms are attraction, lure, glamour, and the antonyms are repulsion, unpleasantness, offensiveness. And then the third word is triumph. It is a noun. It means a great success or victory, the feeling of happiness that you have because of your success or victory. The synonyms are victory, conquest, success, and the antonyms are defeat, unsuccessful, disappointment. Then the next word is congregation. Congregation is a noun, as there is tion, so it's used as a noun. The act of coming together in a crowd or group, gathering means झुंड होके या फिर कहीं पे भी gather हो जाना, gathering. Synonyms are gathering, assemblage, get together, and the antonyms are isolation, solitude, dispersion. Then the next word is hack back to is a verb. It means to turn back to an earlier topic or circumstance. किसी भी topic वर्ब बात करते करते किसी भी पहले वाले topic में चले जाना. To go back to something as an origin or source. मतलब जो भी आप पहले बात कर रहे थे या फिर कुछ हो रहा था. To go back to the origin. तो पहले जो initial जो start हुआ था जो भी topic या फिर कुछ या फिर circumstance तो उसमें चले जाना. Then the next word is tilt. Tilt is a verb. It means to move or make something move into a position with one end or side higher than other. थोड़ा tilted मतलब थोड़ा टेढ़ा रहना, मतलब टेढ़ा मतलब inclined. So the synonyms are lean, slant, incline. Antonyms are leveled, flattened, straightened. Then the next word is yawn. Yawn is a verb. It means to want somebody or something very much, especially something that you cannot have. Something that you don't have and you're craving for something. Synonyms are crave, desire, long. Long मतलब लंबा नहीं है यहाँ पे. Long मतलब longing है, मतलब किसी भी चीज को crave करना या फिर किसी की चीज की चाह होना. Then the antonyms are revolt, recoil, shudder. And the last word is joust. Just is a verb. It means to engage in a sporting contest in which two opponents in horseback fights with lances fight, combat, contest. Yes, it means a contest, mostly a fight. Yes, means where two or more contestants are there, opponents are there, engaging yourself in a contest or in a tournament. So the synonyms are tournament, contest, combat, and the antonyms are surrendering, giving up. So let's go to the second editorial. It is about in search of gold and Tokyo Olympics. तो आज हमारा टोक्यो ओलंपिक्स बार बार पोस्टपोन होने के बाद आज शुरू हो गई है and it will continue till 8th of August and it is being held on Tokyo. So it is named as Tokyo Olympics, which is the capital of Japan. So let's get started. A medal can lose its luster, but the athlete's sporting immortality is set in stone. So what it is said that a medal can lose its luster, a medal can lose its shine, but the athlete's sporting is immortality. Okay, but the athletes never lose its sign of its brightness or radiance. Such is the enduring allure of triumphs at the Olympics. Likewise, it is also about the triumphs at the Olympics. जो जीत हमें Olympics में हासिल होती है, it is also that it is set on stone. It can never be faded. Even a participant without any titles is referred to as an Olympian, and it is an eternal stamp that sport persons obsess about. क्या कहा गया है कि even a participant without any titles, कुछ भी मतलब जीत हासिल हो ना हो, still if he is referred to as an Olympian, and it is a eternal stamp. It is such a stamp that every sport person is obsessed about. They used to crave about it. They are so obsessed. They have likeness towards it. The quadrennial congregation of the world's finest athletes is set to begin after a year's delay imposed by the pandemic schedule. तो क्या कहा गया है? The quadrennial congregation of the world's finest athletes. तो फिर ये जो world's finest athletes में सबसे finest athletes जो भी हैं उनको मतलब बार बार कंपटीशन होके वो सब जो सिलेक्टेड होते हैं, वो जो सिलेक्शन होता है, दे यूज्ड टू प्ले इन द ओलंपिक्स. ये जो गैदरिंग है, इट इज सेट टू बिगिन आफ्टर years delay imposed by the pandemic. ये पैंडेमिक के लिए आफ्टर years delay एक year के बाद now it's all set to begin. Tokyo 2020, as the Olympics is branded for the latest edition, will commence at Japan's capital on Friday while COVID-19 protocols are in place. तो क्या है? During this COVID-19, during this period, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics is branded for its latest edition, which is going to commence at Japan's capital, which it is on Tokyo. It is going to be held on Tokyo. Tokyo and Fukushima will conduct events without spectators, while a limited number may be allowed at stadiums in the Miyagi and Shizuoka regions. तो क्या बोला है कि Tokyo and Fukushima is going to conduct the events without spectators. So there will be no spectators. It's the person who used to enjoy themselves during a tournament or during a play or anything that is being held on a stage. दर्शक जो हम कहते हैं. So there will be a limited number of people who will be allowed to the stadiums. Local approval ratings for the games now stand at the halfway mark, a considerable improvement especially after an 83% opposition as recent as May. Having previously hosted the Olympics in 1964, Tokyo's second alliance with the Premier Championship has been extremely tough. So first it was held on 1964. It was held on Tokyo for the first time, and this is in 2020. This is the second time it is being held. Within the Olympics village ecosystem of athletes, coaches, officials, and volunteers, around 70 have tested positive for COVID-19. And during this period, the together the athletes, coaches, the officials, and the volunteers, around 70% have been tested positive. But the Olympics, harking back to its Athens route in 1896, is expected to hold steady till its conclusion on August 8. So, still, it's harking back means still they have thought to continue it till August 8. When it comes to winning at the Olympics, the United States of America, Russia, China, Europe, nations, and Australia have excelled. The countries those who excel in winning the Olympics medals are United States of America, Russia, China, Europe, and Australia. India, meanwhile, has emerged 28 medals to show despite turning off since 1900. Since 1900, India has only 28 medals. India's initial share come from hockey, but even that tap has run dry since the gold at Moscow in 1980. After 1980, India haven't won any medal for hockey, and India's deals in the Olympics have often been infused with pathos. Legendary runners Milkha Singh and P.T. Usha, missing their bronzes in 1960 and 1984 respectively, still test the tear glands of die-hard fans. However, over the years and through diverse sports such as shooting, tennis, badminton, wrestling, boxing, and weightlifting, India has earned a few medals. In shooting, tennis, badminton, wrestling, boxing, and in weightlifting, India has earned a few medals. This time around, the pursuit to better the best ever tally of six gained at London in 2012 continues. Headlined by PV Sindhu and Mary Kom, besides the talent in shooting, weightlifting, and wrestling, India hopes to push its Olympic envelope further while the yearning for excellence in hockey lingers. So they also desire that they will be winning hockey, and it has been lingering over that. In spite of in winning a medal in shooting, weightlifting, and wrestling, they will be excelling in hockey too. A sobering truth is that the demographic dividend of being the second most population nation does not really convert into a better yield in multi-event joust. So as we all know that after China, India is the leading population nation. We are the second most populated nation, and it is a sobering truth. मतलब ऐसा मतलब दर्दनाक सच है कि even after the demographic area, the population is too high, still we are not in a better yield in multi-event jobs. मतलब जो भी टूर्नामेंट जो भी कंटेस्ट होते हैं, we are not yielded that much. It is pointed to need to improve sport infrastructure as India at the Olympics remains a work in progress. So we need to improve ourselves. The sportsmen need to be provided better infrastructure, better what their requirements should be fulfilled in this for the improvements of their sports infrastructure and all. This will be provided good quality of a good coach and the requirements so that it could be improved. An Olympic medal offers sporting nirvana. It offers sporting nirvana means extreme happiness or in a state of happiness it provides. But even tennis legend Serbian Novak Djokovic is not immune to its charm. Though it provides the Olympic medal, being an Olympian is a dream of many sport person, and playing there is a dream mostly is a dream of the sport persons, and it is a state where they get extreme pleasure or happiness. But for the it is said that, as we know, Novak Djokovic is a tennis legend. Currently, he is ranked as world's number one um, tennis player by the ATP, means by the Association of Tennis Professionals. So, being a rank one tennis legend who plays from Serbia is not immune to its charm. He is not at all affected by the charm of these medals. So, thank you. होप मैं आपको अच्छे से समझा पाई और आप हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दी गई जो भी लिंक है वहां से आप ऐड हो सकते हैं। वीडियो को लाइक करें, शेयर करें और चैनल को अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो सब्सक्राइब करें। हैव अ गुड डे। थैंक यू।